2016 has come to an end, and then comes the surprising films and the disappointing and exciting and the best, the worst, you name it. I'm here to talk about the disappointing films of 2016. 5 films, no honorable mentions, because not that many films disappointed me this year, but 5 films disappointed me. And these are going to be named from 5 to 1, and you're going to see a couple of names right away. But there will be a couple of surprising ones, and I'm going to warn you to not type in the comments straight away once you hear it. You have to hear me out, because I avoided doing the disappointing films of 2015, only because I didn't felt like doing one. But if I had one, Age of Ultron would definitely be on there after 3 viewings. Even though I enjoyed it the first time, of course, I only got 3.5 in the end. I gave it a 4.5 overgeneralizing it. Anyways, let's get to number 5.
The whole world was wrong about you. They're coming for you.
I'm not the one that needs to watch their back.
This doesn't have to end in a fight, Tony.
You just started a war. Stay down. Final warning.
I could do this all day.
Bullshit.
Hear me out. Just hear me out. I did like this film. I did like it. But I only like it for 80% or 75% of the film. That's when I went solid gold. Exactly why I liked The Winter Soldier. 25% is stupid shit. And I will get to that slowly, but by talking the good stuff, because this is the lowest on the top 5. And it's higher than other disappointing films. And you're lucky it's not number 1. Let's get to a couple of reasons why I put it here. Let's start with the good stuff. The action. The action is well choreographed, and I still think to this day the airport scene is a bit overrated. But the action is well choreographed. It's shot beautifully well. Cinematography is on point. Another reason why I liked it: the conflict between the heroes. They really clash the ideologies. One about not doing anything about the Accords, and one just wants the control over the Accords. I thought that was good acting. Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. had some rich dialogue that I still think that they were both their conflicts when they're not on the suits. It's one of the best parts in the film. And here's the disappointing parts about it. And that doesn't have to do with being called the best superhero film I've ever made by everyone. Just like I said, hear me out on these reasons. Because this is not the one I'm definitely passionate about. This is not the worst films of 2016. I'm already out of gas from yelling a lot. Just hear me out in logical sense. I'm gonna say the worst for last, but I'm gonna start with number 1 on my reasons for why this is in the list. The reason why the Accords are around is completely dumb. This got me really annoyed when I watched it. At the opening prologue, I thought, like I said before, it was well choreographed, and for some reason they decided to go to shaky cam, and then eventually they got rid of it. I was like, oh, that was odd. But when they show how many people died, I thought the whole building, a building level is dumb. One whole building level, like in the story, that was dumb. I thought that's not enough to piss off the government. What will piss off the government if 2 buildings are collapsed? And this is no way in reference of 9/11. I did not think of that. I'm only thought that as an example. 2 buildings will have at least 200. If that was destroyed in that opening prologue and Scarlet Witch doing that face, that would have got me go, alright, now I understand. The government's like, I had enough. And it never resolved the issue as one of the plot holes. I don't get it with these team-up movies. They always have the big major plot holes that everyone looks over. Why now the government decided that it's best to due to the chords, when I could have easily done it after Age of Ultron. That could have been the plot of the film. It takes place after the Age of Ultron. I go, alright, we don't trust you, Stark, anymore because you created a robot that could have killed us all. That would have been interesting. But instead, they decided to have a prologue where plenty of threads are going on, like who is Crossbones working for, and all that. It's completely dumb. I cannot get off my head. I was interested in who was the mastermind. I was thinking of the villains, other than the one we got in the film, which I still like. Why? The end fight. I gotta save the discussion about the villain to last, but I will talk about the climax. But I will try my best not to reference the villain. I will concentrate on the conflict in the end of the film. I was completely dumb. I fucking hated it. Soon as that happened, with their screen comes on and they show Winter Soldier killing Tony's parents, I was like, what the heck did he find that from? You gotta think that Winter Soldier somehow destroyed that tape. That is completely dumb. I don't get it why Tony Stark and Captain America have to be in the exact same place at the exact same time. If Iron Man, for that matter, wasn't even there, the plan would have fallen apart easily. Zemo would be like, I tried my best. I'm sorry. Zemo will be like, holy crap, I did not estimate Iron Man not coming here. That completely annoyed me. It was the only time in 2016 that I thought in my head, legit, I still remember to this day, when that scene happened, I was like, piss off. I was annoyed to heck. To the point I could have blown up my head like an atomic bomb. Now to the villain, Zemo. Why does he need to be in this film? You could have easily written him out and it won't cause drastic changes and fix the stupid points. I would have told the Russo brothers to get rid of Zemo because he doesn't need to be in it. And I recall in the Civil War comic book, there's no villain. No villain orchestrated those events. There's no villain that orchestrated those events. It was by the hero's ideologies. That's why it's popular. But for some reason, the films decided they need to go Game of Thrones on us and give us a villain that doesn't even do that intelligence on doing Littlefinger-ish. And luckily, he does not have a magic teleporter. I just don't like Zemo overall, and everyone calling him a great villain. I can see where they're coming from, but he's still a horrible villain. Get it in your thick skulls. It's not a popular opinion that they say Zemo's a good villain. I haven't even seen him mentioned in great villains a lot. That's for good reason. He's one of those villains that don't need to be in it. Because I still would have enjoyed Civil War. I would have loved it if Zemo was not in it. Because I find him as a drag. I find him as a time waster. I find him as a waste of space. And I would have rather him seeing him in his comic book counterpart. That's the more interesting character. I would have liked to see that version of the character, not with that stupid purple suit. No, I'm not talking about that. Keep the powers that villain had, transforming to the modern day. Remember, in Avengers, we put up with a stupid Captain America costume, which I didn't think it was stupid. I thought it was accurate to the comics and made sure it's modernized. They changed it to the badass costume in the Winter Soldier, and then they got rid of it halfway through to this World War I costume. And this, and the Avengers one, the example I just said is the way to change the costume from the stupid look in the comics to the awesome looking in the films. And that could have been done for Zemo, not as a Littlefinger character. I never thought that we need a Littlefinger character. It fit in Game of Thrones, but we kind of didn't need one. If there needs to be one, it needs to be pulled off well. In my opinion, it wasn't pulled off well. Let's get to number 4.
That was my work, yes.
Why?
That's a little harder to answer.
What are we doing again?
We're taking apart my marriage. late to put it all back together.
Well, I think you're gonna get accustomed to my channel being, if or you know me personally, you probably know that I'm a Jake Gyllenhaal fan. This is on the record, I am a Jake Gyllenhaal fan, and I heard this film was coming. I missed the screenings of it, but I did watch it online. It was the only way I could find it. My goodness, it was a huge disappointing mess. Other than the great performance from Jake Gyllenhaal, the film is boring and fell apart after the first act, or I should say the first 20 minutes. As soon as there's the spoiler alert, the girlfriend dies, it falls apart. I lost track of the story. It was hard to understand. The plot became full on itself. It fell apart. The acts, and it didn't feel like an act. It felt like an entire first act. And the ending didn't felt right. It felt too much like other performances, focused films. And I do think Jake Gyllenhaal's best performance was in Nightcrawler. This is definitely disappointing next to Nightcrawler because Nightcrawler has a message inside it. Demolition's message: fuck all what are you doing when you're depressed. Destroy the heck out of everything. There's no clear message in this film. There's no clear message of how to get through depression. And it does it very horribly. It felt like a whole... Alright. It felt like an entire first act repeats in the second and third act, except for the last 10 minutes, which actually felt like an ending. I was like, oh, thank goodness. The other cast members, I don't think it's their fault. It was the scripts and the story. It felt too story heavy, while Jake Gyllenhaal gives his best performance. After Nightcrawler, he has the hit and miss films, like, I really like Southpaw, you probably will know that. He was very good in Everest, but he's not in the lead role, and this film was disappointing. Now let's get to number 3.
Magneto, he's my father.
What?
Him and my mom, they did.
No, I know.
Not all of us can control our powers.
Then don't.
Apocalypse means to destroy this world.
It's all of us against a god and the most powerful beings on earth.
Forget everything you think you know. None of that matters. You're not students anymore.
I'll take everything from them.
You're X-Men.
I was not the only one who got hyped for Apocalypse. During the course of 2015, while thinking about that post-credit scene in Days of Future Past, I remember that night, watching Days of Future Past in 2014. I saw that post-credit scene, I was like, oh, we're getting Apocalypse. I watched the animated series that depicts him as the tough guy. And it's so embarrassing that this film fails to depict how threatening Apocalypse is. Come on! The animated series makes it more embarrassing for the film to catch you. You got a good actor in Oscar Isaac. I thought he would nail this role. I thought he will nail this role. And somehow Bryan Singer told him to play it safe. I'm still gonna say this to this day. He played it too safe. I'm still annoyed that Apocalypse feels not threatening. In the cartoons, he actually felt like a presence and he never got killed off. Oh, spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the film, too bad, and you should save your money and buy the road cut of X-Men Days of Future Past, because that's more worth your money compared to this film, which intends to be another The Last Stand. What the heck happened during production? Did they wrote the film to have Apocalypse be bad, but in terms of performances, and just have the heroes be the focal point? I'm getting sick and tired of these superhero films having an obvious depiction of villains. If it's too hero heavy, you know the villains are gonna be crap. I'd rather go back to Batman Begins. hero focused, but the villain is memorable. I still think about Ra's al Ghul to this day. Things he says in that film. And it's excellent and rich. Very rich dialogue.
The League of Shadows has been a check against human corruption for thousands of years. We sacked Rome, loaded trade ships with plague rats, burned London to the ground. Every time a civilization reaches the pinnacle of its decadence, we return to restore the balance.
The new cast members, I praised them in my written review, but I did not praise one, Sophie Turner. I don't get it with these Game of Thrones stars that decides to not pull off a good performance in things outside Game of Thrones, which I'll still say about Emilia Clarke to this day. She cannot act outside Game of Thrones. What's with the younger actors looking crap outside Game of Thrones compared to folks like Nikolai and Peter Dinklage, Sidney Heedy? They are very good actors. And they all seem to be over 30 years of age. I don't get it. I still don't get it to this day that somehow the veterans somehow pull up a better performance compared to the younger ones. So far what I heard, Macy Williams is set to be terrible in the Netflix film, which I'm a little bit disconcerted because I want her to do great things, hopefully New Mutants, without Bryan Singer's direction, able to send her off to stardom as another hot chick in the film. So far she just decides to accidentally go to trouble with Game of Thrones actors. If you're young, you're gonna be terrible in everything else. I'm not sure about Art, who played Rickon Stark in Game of Thrones. I haven't seen Kubo. I want to hear what he does. I want to see what he does whenever I watch it. And to Bryan Singer, please leave this franchise. You're done. You have 3 of the best superhero films of all time by any accounts. You got a best setup movie, you got a good payoff movie, and you got a good send-off movie to the originals. And somehow you cannot start a new one when it's so easy for you in the first one. You could have saved The Last Stand if you weren't stubborn about doing Superman. Just leave it. Just get to number 2. Just skip to number 5, and you know why I put Zoolander 2 on the number 2 in the Disappointing Films of 2016. Let's get to number 1.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
I had to play Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne because I thought that was my exact reaction to the Super Bowl trailer. Jesus Christ, it's Jason Bourne! Oh my God, he's back! I was looking forward to this film. It was like my second highest anticipated film of 2016 behind Batman vs. Superman. I was looking forward to this. I was looking forward to Matt Damon being Jason Bourne again. I was looking forward to seeing Paul Green guys again. I was like, yippee! We're gonna get another good Jason Bourne movie. Except what I got is an exact repeat of the original trilogy. Jason Bourne, back to where he was in the second one. The villains are back to where they were in the beginning of the third one, chasing after Bourne. Jason Bourne, back to hunting down his past. My goodness, this is the wrong way of repeating films. The Force Awakens did it well, Mission Impossible did it well, and for some reason, Jason Bourne cannot repeat what it did in the originals. From what I understand, the original 3 Jason Bournes are the exact same film, and for some reason, Jason Bourne cannot repeat what's good about them, instead of making obvious repeats. And it doesn't feel like a continuation of the story, it felt like a complete waste of time. Alicia Vikander, I think of her as another upcoming big megastar. I loved her in Ex Machina. She made that film. She should have earned a Best Actress nomination for Ex Machina than The Danish Girl. Because I feel that Ex Machina seemed to be a better performance than The Danish Girl, just from looking at those clips. Had Ex Machina came out later that year, she would have easily won it. In my opinion, she was easily the best actress in that year. Probably would have bet Brie Larson to it. Who knows? In what if scenarios. What annoyed me the most, I knew this was bad from watching the film, is that sucker punch shot from the trailer. That was my moment of, oh my God, Jason Bourne. It was that sucker punch scene being filmed from his chest. Can you see me do the sucker punch? No, you can't. And for some reason, Paul Greengrass said, let's just put we had the best shot of the trailer for the Super Bowl. How about we put that shot and get rid of that shot entirely and film it needs a shot from his chest that I like for some reason, and I will ruin my reputation from making this film with Matt Damon. This is straight after Matt Damon's Oscar nomination for Martian, which I didn't think he deserved it. Even though he was good in the film, I didn't think he deserved it. I thought Michael B. Jordan deserved it more than him. Alright guys, that's my 5 disappointing films of 2016. The surprising list is in the description below. I imagine I'll be uploading them the exact same day. Have a fun one guys, and